Hi, I'm Joey Ito. I'm the director of the MIT Media Lab, and
I'm Jonathan Zittrain, and director of the Berkman Klein Center for Internet and Society at Harvard University.
And so we're going to talk for about an hour. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't in the program, but I really wanted to sort of introduce this because we have been working in this space of AI and ethics, and last year we actually tried to do a conference. But then we looked around and we saw, well, you know, I'm not afraid of the Kurzweilian singularity as much as the singularity where there's an AI conference every day, you know. And so one of the things we said, well, let's refactor, and we thought the AI Now conference looked like the most interesting conference that happened last year. Unfortunately, we weren't invited, so we decided if we hosted it, maybe we could get invited. So that was sort of my idea.
Which turned out not to be true, so we'll be leaving as soon as our introduction is over. Oh. We are part of a new venture called the Ethics and Governance in Artificial Intelligence Fund, and thought we'd say a little bit about that as well. I don't know if you want to say anything about the origins, Joey.
Yeah, we will have a session about that later, but basically it was Reid Hoffman, the Knight Foundation, the Hewlett Foundation, and Pierre Mediar and Jim Pallotta got together, and and Kate and Meredith have been really helping us think about this, was that the funding of this space was just sort of non-existent. And the idea was that the philanthropists would try to get together to fund work that crossed over between the disciplines and increase the diversity, and convening was one of the key things that we thought was important. So Kate and Meredith have been super helpful with that.
And there are 3 zones that are opening zones of focus for the fund, which include autonomous vehicles, criminal justice risk scores for bail, probation, parole, and information quality / fake news, but we can't call it fake news. So those are sort of the 3 areas. And when I think about the title AI Now, it calls to mind, I think, as we're thinking about the space, for AI, we mean it writ large. We mean it colloquially, not as a term of art, because if you get 2 AI people in a room to talk about what is AI, there will be 3 views, one of which they will have programmed. And that is not what we're wondering, what's on what boundary of what. I think, at least for me, it's more of a mouthful, but we're thinking about tightly coupled autonomous systems that evolve over time and therefore can surprise even their makers. And for the now part, to me, now means now is stuff happening now that's going to require some thoughtful interventions, including, as with the founding and development of the internet itself, thinking about what belongs public, what belongs private, at what point is the public interest implicated enough that what 2 people are doing in a garage should have maybe a 3rd person along for the ride as soon as it starts to take off. And that also implicates the question of how easy is it to do AI, to build it? Is it something that requires a bunch of PhDs and a lot of resources, kind of a Microsoft Google thing? Or is it something a la the mythology of the internet that anybody in a room can do as they please? And that's different from some of the AI later questions that involve screenplays for the Terminator and stuff like that. There's plenty on our plates right now. And when I say the brain trust gathered in this room is incredible. And I know I'm really excited. I know you are too, Joey, at what we're going to learn with this kind of gathering, both in the formal sessions and just having chats outside. I hope there's a designated survivor if anything should goes wrong, because this is the group that could help figure out what to do. And when I think of the apex of that group, or the firsts among equals, I'm reminded actually of Ralph Nader, who became something bigger than any one company or movement or institution. He's just Ralph Nader, and was the guy who, while the title of his path-breaking paper was Unsafe at Any Speed, he wasn't anti-car. He was just anti-death car. And I think that spirit is a lot of what infuses a lot of the work here. And I think of Kate and Meredith as kind of the Ralph Naders of this space, bigger than any one institution, even than Google or Microsoft, respectively, and looking so much forward to the leadership they're going to continue to bring as we sort through what are genuinely incredibly difficult problems. If they weren't that difficult, we wouldn't need the lanyards that we're looking to make progress on. And the fact that I suspect none of us has the answer yet is a wonderful, exciting challenge rather than a depressing, let's just go home.
Yes. So with that pre-thanks, thank you, and off with the show with Kate and Meredith.